Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Reviews of Tyberius D. Today, we're going to be doing another battle engagement, and this one is going to be from the Mobile Suit Gundam series, particularly Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, in which we have the Mobile Suit Kshatriya engaging 3 Jegans. This is going to be a very interesting thing. Roll the intro, and we'll get back to you in just a second. I love how that happens. Alright, everybody, welcome back. And today we're going to be looking at the first engagement in the series Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn between Kshatriya and 3 Jegans. These are obviously, the Jegans are Earth Federation mobile suits of generally medium quality. We'll be talking a little bit about what these are and how they operate, versus Kshatriya, which is one of the most amazing mobile suits that I've seen in the series. Honestly, as overpowered as it kind of is, I think it's actually underpowered in this storyline. And we'll definitely talk about this, but we're going to see some tactics, we're going to see an engagement. Absolutely enjoy this, and without further ado, let's hit it up, let's do it. Where's my thing? There you go. Cool.
Emitted from the ship. Appears to be 2 mobile suits. Correction, make that 3 suits, approaching at high speed.
Send Burita out. Ignore the mothership. The Garancier can shake it off.
Roger that.
Target has been acquired. That's a high-speed Jegan. Possibly a Special Forces version.
That means this was no coincidence. We hit the debris cluster in 10 minutes. Take care of those Jegans and get back here.
That's an affirmative, Master.
And stop calling me Master.
Marita Cruz, Kshatriya, launch!
So just to pause, when you look at this mobile suit, the Kshatriya, you get a sense for how big this damn thing is, right? It takes up the entire launch bay of the ship, and you can see what looks to be a Zaku 3 within the lining of the ship as it exits, just to give you a sense of scale. This thing's massive, and we're going to have to expect that this thing can do something incredibly well. Of course, I love the design of the Kshatriya. It looks absolutely great. I like Zeon mobile suits to some degree because they have the one eye, which separates them from the Gundams, unlike a lot of other series or even Federation mobile suits. While they both look distinctly humanoid, Zeon mobile suits look distinctly alien compared to the Federation counterparts, and I love the design aesthetics between the two. They're absolutely fantastic, they're fun, and yeah, anyway, to roll this up, the engagement has begun. Let's see what happens.
No way you're following our ship. Funnels!
Before we get to the awesome part, 2 things. Number 1 is we get to see Kshatriya in flight. It's a big thing, but it's a quad wing mobile suit. It's got a lot of thrusters on it. It can definitely move to some degree. And it's armed with a funnel system. And if anyone doesn't know what the funnel system is, they're basically these little beam laser projectors that you're about to see go about and do some massive work. But you can see the little displays on the control board that is in front of her, and she's thinking, because these things are telekinetically controlled. What some of these mobile suits have, particularly in this era, is that they have very advanced hardware and software that basically reads your mind. Allows you to control these weapon systems in a fundamental way that they're an extension of your own body. And we'll definitely be talking that when we get to the Unicorn later on in a different review. But until then, enjoy the blood sports. Okay, so instantly within a matter of seconds, the funnels have taken out 2 of the Jegans. What we see is that the first one is completely surprised by it. We don't know what the quality of crew that these pilots are, but he largely is just completely overwhelmed. And he's getting shot by a lot of targets, at least by what we can see on the board. It's the better part of 8 to 10 at minimum. And you can see by all the different angles that he's getting hit by. He's getting hit by a lot. What Merida, which is the pilot of this, is doing very, very well, is that she's focusing fire on one individual target at a time. And that is, she is not giving the pilot of any of these mobile suits a way out. Is that when this one mobile suit, whoever target is getting engaged, they're getting engaged from multiple angles at multiple times. And so if the pilot moves to dodge this way, there's always another beam weapon that's going to hit them from that direction. And so they're largely screwed. That first unit is dispatched with relative ease and very quickly. The second unit realizes what's going on, and he's having trouble defending himself because he rapidly becomes the next target. What he does is he opens up with the Vulcans on the head, and he tries to, maybe shoot one down, try to defend himself, because what he's largely figured out is that maybe the only way that you can defend this is going offensive and take out the funnels. He will fail, and he's already been knocked out. Here, we're going to see what a more skilled pilot will do in this particular instance, but also we definitely can tell he's customized to some degree, which you're going to see, and this fight gets interesting really quickly. Okay, so just a quick thing. Number one is that the other Jegans didn't have the bazooka or the missile pods on the front or on the shoulders. So this gives this Jegan a particular advantage that the other ones had. He can open fire on the Kshatriya itself, in which that's a really hard thing for the Kshatriya's pilot to deal with while maintaining the funnels and dealing with getting hit with the bazooka rounds. And that was really, really cool. So he's put the initiative into his hands where he's gone on the offensive, and he's made it to where the funnels are largely inactive because the pilot can't focus to use them. And she's on the defensive, and he has to expend all of his ammunition. She's dodges. And by the way, even though this Kshatriya is absolutely huge, and it looks like that she's about to take a hit, she goes full brake with reverse thrust to slow down her trajectory to where the original bazooka would not hit, and then hyper accelerates to get out of the way of the missile pods that are coming at her. And that's a really good move on Marida's part. And so what she has done is that she's trying to take the initiative back by going offensive herself, getting ahead of her weapons, closing the distance, and then as soon as the missile pods are out of the way, or the missiles from the missile pods are out of the way, she can launch a full funnel assault. And what you can tell by that last scene is that she's opened up everything. Looks like there's quite a number of units on each quad wing. She's deployed all of them. And so this fight is going to get really deadly really quickly, and it's probably going to be over very soon. Okay, I love this. This shows a level of tactical brilliance and tactical excellence that you don't really see in animation, and for people that, largely make these things. Most of the time they just do this stuff to kind of look really, really cool. What this pilot has done is 2 things. Number one is that he didn't have an offensive option, and he needs to close the distance because these funnels are going to tear him a new asshole. So what he does is 2 things. One, he jettisons the extra weight that he has so he can move quicker and close the distance quicker. Fantastic. The other side of that is that he is closing the distance, and that he's he's preparing to engage with a sword because 2 reasons. One, this is the only weapon he seems to have left, obviously. But the other point here is that in close proximity to the Kshatriya, it's going to be hard for the pilot to use the beam weapons. One, because the pilot has to focus on engaging in melee combat, but more importantly, if the funnels are used, the Kshatriya itself becomes maybe a possible target. And so he is fundamentally trying to eliminate that from being a reality. And so it's becoming a melee one-on-one engagement. And this is where this fight gets beautiful. And I was so gushing whenever I saw this for the first time.
Mission complete. Returning to ship.
And it's over, just like that. Okay, a couple things I wanted to talk about real quick. I love the music in this engagement. It's absolutely fantastic from start to finish. And one of my favorite things about Unicorn is the soundtrack. It's absolutely wonderful. And so, like, the tension, particularly when the funnels go out, is that it's really slow, and then it's got a little bit of a techno thing as the funnels deploy, and then all of a sudden they start firing, and the orchestra just really comes up and goes at it. And I love how the timing with the animation and the music is synchronized so well that it goes with the flow very well. And I give credit to the director, the music department, for doing that, because that's sometimes really hard to do. You know, you can always do an Avengers thing pretty easily, but this is quite a bit harder to actually, you know, make happen. And so, very well done. The other thing I want to talk about is a little bit about how these two come in. You see them beam clash for the first time, and they swipe past each other. And you're kind of like, what the hell's going on here? Because the Jegan pilot needs to be as close as possible. And what I think is implied here, but it doesn't actually show or state, is that these two have inertial force. They are in Newtonian physics of space. So when they clash, they don't just stop. They've got a lot of energy behind them. And if they do stop, the pilots turn into a hamburger. You don't want that. So what they do, they clash, they come back at it, they stop, they clash again. They have that wonderful fight scene. You see the lightning between the sabers go at it. That was so cool. And I gushed so hard the first time I saw it. I literally went, yeah! Of course, this is back in 2010. But you see that engagement? And this is a knockdown, drag-out fight. What you see is the Jegan pilot knows he has to end it. He has to end it quickly. He goes for the jab into it. Not a bad move, but it's a very one-dimensional thing. It's basically you have to win when you go for that moment. The good thing is that the Kshatriya is huge and it's a massive target, and so the jab makes a lot of sense. And it's really hard to parry for something that's that big. You know, the Kshatriya's got these huge arms, these, you know, and the wings behind them itself. It's going to be hard for that to actually parry in a normal sense. Because Merida shows true skill, excellence, and ability, where she completely turns the tables in an unconventional way. She opens the thrusters up against the Jegan to slow it down to where it is suspended in front of her, and cancels out the force. Now, granted, there's two questions: whether it is the Jegan is simply canceled out in its inertia to where it's standing there, or that actually the Kshatriya is now matching pace with the Jegan, and so they're moving at relative velocity. Don't know the answer to that. I think it's largely implied that they're, you know, at same pace, but that gave Kshatriya, and particularly Merida, the opening to engage with the final swipe, and that is this big hack, and it's just so epic, where it just goes for the big hack and just cuts the Jegan straight in half. And you can even see the resistance as it goes through it, where it's slowly melting through the torso of the mobile suit, and it finally comes apart. The one thing I will say to close out on this is that the dialogue. You hear the pilot talk one time, and he says, damn, and then something. Now, I thought it was damn sleaze, and every time I hear it, I still hear that. And for me, in terminology, a sleaze is a cheater. And I don't know if you guys have that. But from what technically the dialogue is supposed to be is damn sleeves. The sleeves being the operational unit of Zeon that Merida and company are a part of. So I think sleaze actually looks better because he's basically being a sore loser. He's like, yeah, cheated me, as he dies. But either way, it works, and so this was absolutely a little fun engagement that takes the better part of just a couple minutes. I thank everyone for being here a part of it. Chat has largely been, too many big words, sorry about that. Chat has largely gone silent on me, which sucks, because we got 30 viewers, so either everyone's just hanging out or not doing anything or what have you. But in a nutshell, this has been the engagement between Kshatriya, 3 J-Guns. Absolutely fun first engagement to start off the Unicorn series. And it's pretty much within the first 5 minutes of the action. So absolutely enjoyable, absolutely great. We're going to roll out the intro here, and we'll continue the stream just after a second. Have a good one, guys.